Woof! Hello, everyone. Woof, woof. Surprise. Avoid these buys. That's what today is all about. We're going to be doing here on our Two Dogs Digs Hall Pass. We're going to talk about things that in some cases are a bit of a surprise. You want to avoid these buys. And some things that you probably already think to avoid, but also to think about, is there something about this that I should think a little bit more about? And I don't know. It makes me kind of think of a song. Do, 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 do. Don't go buying this stuff. I tell you because I tried. But crap when I'm feeling FOMO. Try to not be that guy. Do, 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 do. So don't go buying this stuff.
I won't.
It never leaves your store. You'll end up with a big pile of crap now, sitting around on your floor. Ooh, 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 ooh. Nobody sells these. Nobody sells these. When you go thrift, don't you get miffed. Ooh, ooh. Don't try to sell these. Don't try to sell these. It never gets old. Just use eBay solds. Ooh, just use eBay solds and Google searches. So don't go buying these things. Just don't go buying these things. Don't go buying these. Don't go buying these. Don't go buying these things. And scene.
Can I take my earplugs out yet?
I warned you. I warned you all.
Actually, to be fair, I giggled at that one, so it wasn't all bad.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday Hall Pass. I was going to do "Don't Worry, Be Happy" version of "Don't Buy This."
I would not let him.
Except I couldn't do it without trying to imitate Bobby McFerrin, and I thought that is not the right thing to do. So I decided, and Rick cannot act, despite his multiple musical time in high school. He can't act worth crap now. So I wanted to try and do one of those "Don't go buying these things," and then he would do the second part. No. That was an utter failure. So hello, how is everybody doing?
If I were still drinking, I would entertain that. But,
Hi, Janet. Tina's here. Let's see. Susan is here as well. Diana. Let's see who else we got. Kendra. Hey, Kendra. Michael is here. Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Kathy, Marianne, Nellie on Central Time. Sherilyn. Brian and Charmaine probably. There she is. Charmaine. Linda. Hey, long time no see. Hope Bad Dog. Yep, you got me. I'm singing now. I'm going to do it all the time. I decided that I like doing it. So even though people may not like it, I don't care.
And he's calling me people. Thank you.
You're calling him people. No, I'm calling other people because I'm sure there's a few people who don't want people to sing. Heather and Bob, Greg, Julie. Yeah, I'm off my meds. Yep. Waves a lit lighter. Thank you. See, thank you, Jennifer. Oh my goodness, Tatiana. Hello.
I'll just wave this scary little doll.
No, let's have a Kiki's actually a reference to the Scissor Sisters and Kiki D. That's the reason I put that in there for Kiki D. Hey, Lisa. Hello, Canuck Search. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I'm sorry. Bob was falling asleep, and then he heard me singing and woke up. I hope I didn't give him a stroke.
That's not a great way to wake up, is it?
No, you'll wake up and go, Heather, this is worse than burnt toast. I'm hearing a really bad imitation. Anyway, today, thanks for joining us. We're talking about surprise, avoid these buys. Now, the reason it became a surprise, avoid these buys, is because I've had a lot of, Doug said, woof. I've had a lot of chance, like looking around. Hey, Paul, searching for stuff in the past month or so, as you may have heard. You missed my song, but I'll sing it again towards the end, probably. Hey, Paul. Handmaid's Tale scary doll?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be, well, it would be scary.
No, the scary
Oh,
thing
that,
is
yeah.
she's a sleep eye doll.
But I've been searching around for a lot of stuff and I can't really find tons. And so I normally, as you guys do, we participate in a thrift it or throw it. And I put up all this stuff. It's like, well, almost everything I've been buying in the past, or trying to buy in the past month, has been throws. I haven't had a lot of thrifts. The only thing that I had that was a thrift, and it was a desperate thrift, hey CM, was these, which I showed in our bi-weekly Kennel Club. So every other week, there.
That is Doug in the room looking up at me and going, boof, boof, boof.
Yeah, so Doug had a little operation on his leg. And because of the operation on his leg, it was stitched up. And after a week, Doug licked and ripped the stitching out. So we had to get him restitched last Friday. And then we were told by our doctor, you must have a collar. So he's got his little soft collar on, which is really cute in a way, but it's also very, it's awkward because he keeps, a soft collar is better because you don't hit things hard, but he lies on it and his face is all scrunched in the collar. And then when we try and throw his ball, because he still wants to throw the ball, he lifts his head up too high, and it's like a bad carnival game where you try to throw the ball and it comes out of his cone. Or if it lands in his cone, it's beside his mouth, and he's trying to get it out of his mouth. Anyway, as I was saying, so we're going to talk about two things today. One of them is I'm going to show you some stuff that I thought for sure would have been a must buy, and say, okay, look at this stuff. I thought for sure I would be picking this up. It was like I put it in my cart. I didn't even look it up until I was just about to leave. I thought, I guess I should look this up, and I was really surprised at a couple of things. Then we're also going to we're going to talk as well about the things that a lot of people just try to avoid, or you should just automatically try to avoid. But we're also going to show you a few things about those things that you try to avoid that might make you just also take an extra little look at things like that. So first one I'm just going to show you is this is something that was one of these things. And you know, I always talk about, especially in thrift or throw it's, I'm always going like, when you see something that jumps out at you on like a shelf, it's like, I got to look at this. I've got to look at this. This is something. So especially in the term of plates, serving plates and things like that. So I saw this, that alone was enough to make me jump it. And then I took a look at this and it's like, oh, that's really cool. Now it's all these different like places. It's actually a really neat plate with the icons all over it. It's called American Roadside by Americana. And I thought, wow, this is going to be an easy buy. I really shouldn't have any problem in reselling this. So I went to there up to eBay, and I decided I'm going to look up Americana, American Roadside, and Americana Roadside plate, and take a look at this. $14 for 4. There's the actual set, listed for $250, but at the end of the day, one sold for $27, which is okay, but it's one of those things that's just like, I don't know if, and actually it's 2. I just realized that was 2 for $27. So that's $13 a piece. So it's one of those things that it's like, well, I would have honestly expected a plate like that, a series like that, to be really big. So it's one of the things that it's actually leading me into is just a little sort of chat on its own about when you're looking at stuff like that, souvenir type things can be a really interesting kind of thrift, but it's something that in general, 90% of the time you want to avoid. Now, we've seen Route 66 wallpaper go well and bags every once in a while and some of the things. And that's one of the reasons I thought I really gravitated straight towards this, because I've seen those things, but I do also know that a lot of souvenir stuff that's local has a very limited audience to it. So it may sell, but again, you have to find that right audience. So one of the big things when we're talking about something that you want to avoid is you want to avoid something where you're trying to get to such a tiny group of people. So I'll give you a perfect example. It took us 4 years to sell it, but we live just across the border in southern Ontario. Across the border from us used to be a little theme park. And this little theme park was called Fantasy Island. And when I was growing up, other than the Canadian National Exhibition, which is this huge thing that happens every year, Fantasy Island was open in between on Grand Island, New York. So it's just across the border through Niagara Falls. And this was a place. Well, we happened to go to a garage sale a couple of years ago, about 5 years, actually 7 or 8 years ago, and found a couple of memorabilia pieces. And the problem was, I bought them, didn't spend a lot of money, but at the end of the day, the only people who were interested in Fantasy Island things were people who actually maybe either went or were employed or had a real affinity to Fantasy Island. And so we actually, Jennifer went there in the 60s and 70s. Yes. And it's actually still there, but it's empty. It closed down, I think, at COVID, Rick, around COVID time.
Yeah.
And it's still there, which is really strange. There's a KOA campground right beside it. There's still some of the stuff is still there, but it's like the movie Zombieland. It's like just an empty thing. So it's something, again, I want you to keep in mind that souvenirs in general are really iffy.
They can be tricky, yes.
We've had, and that can sort of even go into the postcard world too, because postcards could be postcards are a really lucrative thing for a number of people. But again, it's certain postcards. So a lot of times those fold out, sort of almost day glow, like, look at all these, like Chicago, they're worth nothing. So I don't know how many people are really interested in that. They don't want, so you've got to find something that's a good reason for a souvenir. And again, I thought this would be a perfect thing. I thought this would be a great thing. And people would be like people who travel a lot, but for $13, you know what? I would buy that set and maybe use it myself, but it's not the kind of set that you're going to try and sell for a few $100s. This is a shocker to me. I grabbed this as soon as I saw it. This is Tiki Kingdom. It was a Mickey Mouse and a Minnie Mouse, and they were little salt and pepper shakers. And then right beside it, I found Tiki Kingdom. Here's not a bad picture of it, but this is a salad fork and spoon set. There's one. Serving fork and spoon. And I thought, this is amazing. This has got to be worth something. This is $3.99, and it looked like they had $7.99 underneath it, but they didn't sell it, so they put it down to $3.99. I was like, oh, great, $3.99. And this guy, if I got the price on that, was $7.99. So I was like, okay, this is great. This is an easy $11 spend. Oh, Lisa says she sells those fold art on Etsy for $20. Again, this is just what we've found in general. Bob made Heather donate most of her Florida souvenir plates. Oh, her powder room was decorated with them. Well, and they are really cute. Again, they are really cute. But it's something to watch for. Well, I thought we've got so many things that we can kick off with 2 for 1 with one stone. We got Tiki, we got Disney, we got Minnie and Mickey. And you know what? These have got to be worth, like tons of money. I mean, my goodness, it's like Tiki Kingdom for Mickey Mouse. It's got to be like, it didn't even look like it was a recent thing. So I thought this is gonna be easy. This will be really easy to try and figure out. I've got to be lots of those, and I found them on eBay and $14. And I was like, what? $14? That's all? Well, if I go and check the solds, $7.50. That's less than the price of what they were. The original $7.50. Now, again, these were used, but this was a shocker. And I think this is one of the big shockers for a lot of people is Disney or Mickey, there's one there, $15 for, I'll make this a bit bigger so people can see it. $15 for that set. There it is. Brand new, was $19. They had to reduce it. So I think this is one of the things that you also have to watch is when you're getting into things like this, that what you would think of as being an automatic. Because I honestly, before, I wouldn't have even looked that up. I don't think. If this was last fall, I probably would not have honestly looked this up. Do you think I don't think you would have looked it up either.
Actually, last fall, no.
No.
Now that things are getting a bit tighter and the profit or the potential profit seems to be shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, we're having to look up a lot more things.
Yeah. And like Disney is so over, it's true. Disney is so overproduced. It's kind of like, yes, the fast fashion. But again, when things are done, like the interesting about what Disney does is they issue something, they have a few years of something, and then they'll move on. So my big thing was, I've already talked to you guys before about, I loved collecting Vinylmations, which was the Mickey Mouse figure made into different designer man. And I have,
and this
at one point I had
a GIMP
200,
suit.
300 of them.
Mickey in a GIMP suit.
Yeah, Mickey in a GIMP suit. Well, let me switch you, Rick. There's Mickey in a GIMP suit. And they flip through these kind of things really fast where they do something like that and they issue. So Mickey and Company, Mickey's Kitchen, all of these sort of things. Now, there are people who still collect them. And again, that's why I would have thought Tiki Kingdom, easy. It's got to be something that everybody wants and not anybody doesn't seem to want it. So it's a surprise. So one of the things that I sort of learning more and more and when I'm talking about avoiding these things is, as Heather says, is like using eBay solds, carling, as we call it, something for Google Images. Using Worthpoint, and eBay solds. I'm not even looking at eBay sold so much anymore. I'm looking at eBay's 3-year research because 3 months research isn't good enough for me, mainly because I don't know how much people are buying in the past 3 months. Hold on a sec. Andrew got a question. What that pig or Easter bunny in the background of the thrift store picture? Oh. That? Didn't even notice that.
It looks like Peter Rabbit.
I guess it could be Peter Rabbit. I think that's what you're talking about. It's kind of a little evil. He's staring at Minnie and Mickey. Yes, Disney popcorn buckets are still good sellers, especially when they first come out. And I guess that's the other thing. And depending on if something's just come out, you can actually grab a lot of it. Lisa has a really great comment. The only stuff I really pay attention to is vintage Disneyland, especially stuff from attractions that have closed, old hotel cups, etc. Yeah, and in that same world as a vintage Disneyland, I think the other thing to look at there is always look at other Disney parks or Disney park merchandise. That's a thing that I find you can do really well with. So you may see Minnie and Mickey and go, but turn it over. And if it's from Tokyo Disney, Paris Disneyland, if it's from one of the foreign parks, somebody's brought it back with them probably as a souvenir, or it's been gifted to them as a souvenir, and they don't want it. So that's a really great find, is vintage Disney in some cases, Disneyland, old theme park stuff, but especially foreign theme parks. And I saw somebody posted in here, I can't remember who, somebody said they still had their ticket stubs. I saw that. Oh, there, Kendra. I still have my ticket stubs from Disneyland in 1977. And they actually did a big jump, and now they're back to nothing again. They used to be really big money out of those too. Heather said, did you see Pokemon cards to sell? Yeah. I stay away from Pokemon cards because I got a bunch of cards that I can't get rid of for a dime or a penny. So again, if you know something about something, it might be different. I mean, Paul's got a good comment. The weird Disney hats sell, yes. And Elisa saying you might look for Muppet Disney stuff since that part of the Magic Kingdom is closing or is just closed. Yeah, they're doing something with Muppets 3D and removing it for something else. I can't remember what exactly. But Yeah, so keep an eye out for those. But again, in general, a lot of the newer Disney stuff you want to think about. You gotta take a good look at it. And again, I just would assume automatically that I would have grabbed those again, and no time I would have picked these up in the fall, and I would have spent $15 and then had a hard time selling them for $15. This was something that Rick actually spotted. It was a really pretty bowl. Now it was a little pricey. It's a large bowl, a little pricey at $24.99, but we did see this on a Tuesday 30% off day. So we're talking about this being about 18 bucks Canadian plus tax. So say 21, US 15. And
it was everything I could do to not put it in my cart.
Yeah. It had this really strange label on it.
Yep.
It is a really pretty bowl. Now, I think when we did it before and we had to search, we ended up searching in Google Lenses, and we found the closest we could find. Actually, we found that item 3 or 4 times, and it's not the $175 one you see on Amazon.
Actually, it is. It was the direct match for the Amazon one.
Was it?
Yep.
I thought it looked like that one.
No, it was I compared it with the Amazon picture in the store.
It's not that one. That's 100. That's not it.
Go down.
That one?
That was it.
Whichever one, we ended up looking at it going, oh, well, this is not something that we thought. Now, and this sort of leads us into a secondary category, which is just in general, you got to be sort of really careful when you're looking at a lot of stuff. Right now, a couple of our thrift stores that we've gone into, the Salvation Army that's around us and a lot of the places that's around have color coded. That's the strangest way to thrift for me. They don't put like items together. They put them by color. And I honestly don't understand it.
It makes them easy to sort. I don't have to worry about where I'm putting it.
Black, yellow.
Yep.
But they're putting, like, if you want to look for a mug, you have to look every single aisle for mugs, because every single aisle,
yeah, if there was a set of mugs that were red, green, blue, and yellow, they would put one red mug in the red section, the blue mug in the blue section, the green one in the green section, the yellow in the yellow section.
So if you wanted that set of 4, you'd have to find it through 4
and
aisles.
It's 4 individual prices now instead of the set of 4. It's annoying.
But one of the things that we saw, this is actually into 2 things that are avoiding buying, but one of them was that so many thrift stores now I see have entire aisles of clear glass. So cut crystal, just regular clear glass, bowls, vases, and there isn't the market for that any longer. And I think, again, with the difference in the aging population, the boomers, millennials, Gen X, Gen Y, and what everybody likes and has and things like that.
I want my Thomas the Train cereal bowl.
It's one of those things that is less likely to be something that sort of falls out of the boomer world and down to the younger generations, because as a bottom of the boomers, because I was born in 62, so it was right at the end of the boomer era, then the stuff that we grew up with, there's an affinity towards a lot of it. So when you've got somebody who's 25 right now, they're not looking at a bowl like this and going, that's fabulous. So it's Arca Rock I've seen, and Arca Rock, I used to get okay money. It's got nothing going now. Savers in Southern California have been the same color on the end caps. Oh, okay. Clear glass and brown furniture, unless it's teak, are a no-no. Diana's saying, I mean, there is a possibility. It's like maybe if you have to go up and down all the aisles and maybe buy more. I guess that could be true, but it is just as irritating. It also can turn somebody off from I need to find a this. Like if I have to go into Value Village or I'm going into a thrift store, I want to go into the thrift store and say, I'm looking for, today I need to find a vase. And I can go to the vase section. It's interesting. They don't color code their clothing. They just color code their hard goods. So, but again, it's what I'm trying to point out there is the things that crystal, we put my mom's crystal set, like fancy ass crystal, the kind of crystal that you would like ting, oh, it's just so special, cut crystal, everything like that. I remember learning 40 years ago about how you had to ping the crystal and make sure, and how you could tell cut glass from like pressed glass and everything.
Doing the Sandra Bullock routine from
doing that from Miss Congeniality.
Miss Congeniality. Having all the girls from backstage come and drink from the glasses and ruin it for everyone.
But with that, we put those in a couple of different places. We could not sell them. We couldn't sell them on Facebook. We ended up putting them into our max sold, and literally we're getting like $1 or $2 for an entire set. And that's what they're going for right now in a lot of auctions that I see. And part of the thing I think we want people to think about, because we're doing this right now with our antique booth that we're finally going to be opening on Thursday of this week, is getting rid of the stuff. Now, Heather and Bob had to go through it because they just moved. So they had to get rid of a lot of stuff. But having stuff in your stock that's 4 and 5 and 6 years old is just taking up space. It's potentially taking up listing costs for you. It's stuff that you need to get cleared out of your head. And one of the other things that I'm always saying is, think about the fact that you're going to spend more money before you get rid of something. So finding a way to get rid of something and then buying something with that money, it's a way that you can actually move stuff. Or like Leanne, you could just give your cats their cat food out of crystal balls. That works. Mm-hmm. That works too. But yes, granny panties are here to stay. Granny panties and prison underwear. 2 things that are here to stay. Here's something else that I found that I thought was really neat. Again, this is the kind of thing that normally I would grab, which was, I saw this really interesting ceramic like thing. And I was like, oh, look at this. King Mucky Muck. Not the girl. I'm not talking about the girl. I'm not talking about the hockey player. I'm talking about this green molded guy that's here. Not talking about the $10
paint your own
varnished Mickey. So this guy, and price tag was a little high, $14.99, and some days they're smoking something, other days they're not, and it had no markings on the bottom that I could see, that I could read easily. It had this strange little marking here, and it said Malava. I think it was something to do with, might have to do with Voldemort. I'm not really sure. It might be a spell. I have no clue. But yes, that was on the back of it. Malevolent. It's not malevolent. So I was sure, even with $14.99, I thought this is something. I always gravitate, and Rick does a lot, to interesting shaped jugs, things like that, right, Rick? Like you're always looking for what's that kind of weird looking thing. And this to me was a weird looking thing. And I thought, again, probably 6 months ago, wouldn't have even thought twice. I would have picked it up and not even thought twice about it. But this time I had to think twice, because I'm thinking twice now with my sales lower than they are, with carrying stuff that I don't need to have sitting around the house anymore. So if I Google image this, look what I end up finding. It's the Soldier and Serpent. Well, it's pretty close. That one was $18. Go back and see if I can find it. Oh, I got to do it again. Here we go.
Well, Lisa Wallace said that she sold one for $50.
Well, again, there's Arsa on here, but like this guy here kind of looks like it. And it was listed for $90. But again, I'm just talking about when we're looking at these things and we're trying to find them, this is sort of him, but it's not him. Right? So again, something that I would normally think of, in this case, again, with the back, whatever that name was on the back of there, Mala, how does it say? Malev.
My love.
Huh?
My love.
I love Jug. Nothing. Nothing there either. So again, it's just one of the things is just because something looks great, it's not necessarily something that is going to end up being great for you. So always do that Google image search now. Elisa says, I'm proud that I just donated 3 bags of unsellables. Yay! Stuff I tried on multiple platforms. You had to make yourself be okay with letting it go. It is a tough, tough thing to let that go. Like I am just as bad, if not as bad or worse than anybody. And Rick can attest to this because I just go, but I paid, but it's worth.
Yeah, is it worth the gas that it took to drive there and back?
Not now.
Is it worth the amount of time that it'll take to clean, photograph, list, pack, ship, blah, 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 blah?
Is it a male? Maybe it's Paul's saying maybe it's Malev or a male to male V. It's
Male
the male
V.
V. I don't want to look that one up. I'm not Googling that. For sure.
I have. It is not pleasant.
Tell me about it. Bob. I'm like Heather. You are like Bob. So, I don't know what 5 means.
Oh, the V is 5.
Huh? Oh,
V, Roman numeral 5.
Okay, I don't know.
There's also an accent aigu over the
No, it's
E.
not. It's not a magnetic train. That's for sure. I don't know what it is. I don't care. Now I didn't buy
I think
it.
if they were priced at like $6.99, I would have been tempted to convince him to buy it.
I wouldn't have bought it based on what I could find out. I did find this when I looked this particular thing up, and I did find it, and I did find that it was listing and selling for $20. So Lisa got 50. Good for her. Again, just saying, I did my search on it, and I want you to think about things that you'd normally go, ooh, I got to grab this. The thing is, the lady beside is one of those things, again, it's the typical thing you probably should be looking at avoiding is you've got to watch when you're looking at a lot of these sort of things, and I'll call them the world of Inesco, where I see, I think, probably at least 5 times a year, I see some daughter who was given the Inesco ladies from their age, 1, 2, 3, the girls growing up. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that one or not. I can see if I can find it. It's Inesco birthday girls. There it is, Inesco birthday girls. So this is, I see this at least once every 2 months. These sets show up, which is all the little girls with their little birthday numbers on it. And the mother was like, oh, I'm going to get it to her until she's 16. And then she turned 17 and mom put it into a little box for her to take with her to her place on her own when she moved out. And she threw it out.
She dropped it off at the Goodwill on her way to college.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when you look at these, it's like $65 for the set, $48 for the set, $5 each. This is the kind of thing where you just gotta watch it, and you do have to avoid a lot of things that are in that sort of generic Inesco world. So seeing those Inesco type things is something where I want you to, again, you look at it and you immediately would think, oh God, no, why would I buy anything that's Inesco? Who would want something like that? Well, with Inesco, you got to remember, that's everything from Precious Moments, it's Merry Moo-Moos, it's Cherished Teddies, it's all of those things. There can be, she turned 17 and oops, I dropped them as I went out. There can be some that you may find that have a value to them. If you want to spend the time, if you don't have a lot of time to spend, then whip by them. If you see these, though, I've seen people try and sell these kind of things like Precious Moments in the boxes. Rick, you and I have seen them at estate sales where they're still trying to get $10 and $15 a box.
Yeah. Yep.
Even garage sales where they're wanting a lot of money for them. And if you look at these, there's 120,000 of these right now listed in the last 90 days on eBay. 120,000. Sorry, I got to close the door. 120,000 of them. And if you look at the majority of them, when you're looking at the solds, ended recently, $9. There's a 45. There's $75 for this entire set. And if you look on the low end, which I'll do the especially lowest end, take a look. These are terrible, but look at this. $2, $2. Now, people paid a lot of money for these. People are auctioning them, thinking, oh, people are really going to bid on these. No, no one wants to bid on them. No one wants them. $4. Look at every one of them is trying to do it as an auction, hopefully getting a bid of some kind for it. Now, again, what I'm saying is when you look at that kind of thing, you can actually find a couple of things that may have a value to them. So I know, for example, like this one, $950. So it's a would we see we would see Jesus. That seems to be a really big one. So if you're going, and you see this, you run across it. Look at it, $600 or $700 for this. Disney ones are big. I've sold recently a set of Wizard of Oz ones. See if I can put that in here. There's a Wizard of Oz set. So there are occasions where you look at something, and most of the time to me, it seems to be a license thing, right? So it's not that this is the set that I sold, and I sold them for, I don't think I sold them for $99 a piece, but I think I sold them for a couple $100.
You are correct. Now, I'm just going back in chat for a minute, Craigie. I don't know if you touched on this, but Canuck Surge mentioned about the UNESCO homegrown vegetable stuff. We had the California sheep salt shakers and the eggplant timer and all of the. Do you remember those?
We had a bunch of those at one point, but we had trouble selling a lot of those.
It took a while to sell, but they did sell for some higher prices. So if you ever see an UNESCO anthropomorphic fruit or vegetable, look it up before spending money on it.
Generally, if you just see plain old regular looking dogs and astronauts and things like that, or plushes, they are not worth anything. So these are, like, say, $12, $15 at the most. So just be careful when you're looking at that kind of thing. If you look up, this is Precious Moments. If you looked up Cherished Teddies, which I see an awful lot of as well. Cherished Teddies, well, Cherished Teddies, 5,800 of them, $3. So again, there may be a couple, but most of them are really not going to be worth a lot of money. Look at these dollar ones, everything there. Again, you can look at something like that and then say, what are highest? And you might find one or two.
Well, that's something that we've sometimes done before going into an estate sale. If we do a quick search using TerraPeak for, like, if it's, they have 3,000 Hallmark ornaments, we do a quick search for Hallmark ornaments in TerraPeak, or now eBay Research, and sort it by highest price downward. And then look at the individual ornaments that come up at higher values. And then you can quickly scan, the hundreds of ornaments on the shelves and pull out the ones you think you remember being valuable.
Yeah, but I mean, here, Cherish said, huge lot of 28, $150. So these are like $5 a piece in general. There are a couple in here. There was a Winnie the Pooh one that I saw up here. There's a carousel that's worth a lot of money. So again, just the kind of thing. Now, there was something that actually jumped into. Tina said she met a lady at a thrift. She volunteers that she repaints Precious Moments and sells them. And I was actually going right to that as one of my comments is there is an ability to potentially have people make money on them. There's a couple of guys. There's a guy who actually does them in Canada who repurposes Precious Moments. So this is somebody called Retro Purpose who takes Precious Moments and turns them into zombies. and sells them for $100. So they can buy their parts or whatever they need to make things for $5. Then there might be a market actually for you guys to be looking at that. There's another zombie in there. There's somebody else who's done them not as good. So you need to be good though. If you're gonna repurpose something like this, you need to do it right. Like repurpose paint. Pardon me. Paintings. Some boring old paintings that you find, and take a look at this guy. There's a guy named David Irvine. He upcycles thrift store paintings. So that's him doing. That's Night on the Town with the Ghostbusters Marshmallow Man in it. He's put rubber duckies against ships. Dumbo flying towards the beer store. I love this one. Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre painted it. If I could paint, I don't understand this one. It's called Meat Migration.
That's a surrealist take on cows migrating.
So he's done some wonderful. I love when I see them do Star Wars stuff. I think that is amazing. And there are actually so many. There's actually over 1,000 upcycled paintings right now on Etsy. So you can see people taking this same sort of idea. They're not making a lot of money at it though. Like there's Darth Vader driving a tractor. There's somebody's built ladies. There. Well, that's it. 329 for that. And I'm sorry, that doesn't look like it's a very good. They're showing the before and the after. So the only thing they did was add Darth in, and they didn't really do a good job of Darth, if you ask me.
That's an interesting conundrum.
Yeah,
it's unclear if that they would even go after a piece of art.
Oh, the right holders might have a problem with that.
They might, but
you mean it's just you mean putting the use of Darth Vader in versus putting in like a piece of steak?
Yeah,
that's a possibility. That the thing is, there's a lot of people on Etsy. Hell, there's a lot of people everywhere that are co-opting brand images. Everything from the Disney fonts to do stuff and do your like a hand burnt mailbox or wood sign for your house, like all that sort of stuff. It is all trademark infringement, but there's so many people doing it. I don't know whether they would go after somebody for individually doing it. They don't seem to be going after the hundreds and hundreds of people on Etsy who are selling their own versions of something. But it was just, again, it's one of those things. It's like a lot of boring paintings or printed paintings may not be worth a lot of money. If my comment really was, if you could take something that is potentially worthless to a lot of people, like an Esco, and then go, okay, I'm going to take this. I haven't found anything good, but I'm going to try and make it into a zombie. I'm actually going to make my attempt on some paintings like this because I actually have.
I will film and document the entire affair.
Like somebody here did like 16 candles.
That does not look like Molly Ringwald.
Not really that much, does it?
Did you do that, Craig?
No, I didn't do that.
Do you have a secret talent that you're not sharing with the world?
See, my daughter wanted to do painting. Do up a painting for Halloween, so she picked one at Salvation Army. Thank goodness I looked up the artist. It was a well-known. Yeah, make sure you do look them up. Don't sell something. People do Monster High versions and things like that. Yeah, so, but yeah, it's just something to think about. So, some of the other things that.
But honey, I don't need another project.
No, I don't need another project. If I get rid of stuff, it's just I have these paintings that are cardboard paintings that are made to look like they're swirled, and they were actually sold at Kmart and Zellers and grocery stores back in the 70s, and they were like $1 or $2, and it was like Blue Boy and things like that. I'm going to take a couple of those because I don't think there's much of a value in them, and I'm going to try and do my own version of upcycling them. I don't know whether it'll work or not, but I'm going to try it. Google eyes are going to be part of whatever I do, so we'll see.
Google eyes
very well just be Google eyes on them, but you never know what they're going to do. So we were talking about that. So we've said like stay away from old souvenirs, but one of the other things that's in the same world is watching from a few of the other things that you can run into, kind of like the world of Inesco, is keep away from Avon. Avon just has no, actually, that's what I am going to be doing. I am going to be collaging stuff into it as opposed to, because I can't paint. Avon was so big, but again, it was big when my mom was around as an Avon lady. I don't really know how big Avon is, if it is even anymore. We had Avon in Canada. We had Regal Gifts. But Avon was huge, and we still see, especially at flea markets, right?
But we also had Sandyline stickers, and that's
no, they're good.
Other world.
That's a different world. No, those are worth a lot of shit. Those are worth big money, Sandyline. But like a lot of these things we find, and you find them still either in their boxes. Half of the time you find them and they still have everything inside them. So but they just don't have a value. So take a look at this on eBay right now. 42,000 vintage Avon bottles. And of the 42,000 in there, in the past 90 days, 3,000 have sold. So that's not even 10%. And they're selling for nothing, really. Every once in a while, again, you may find something interesting. But $8, $9. We actually picked some up that were space age oriented, and we couldn't sell them for the
graphics on the boxes were fantastic.
They were so cool,
but nobody wanted them.
Now, the other thing that is a challenge with some of these things is the design on them, and a lot of them are really amazing. When you look at the final designs, I just think about them being so cool. But the part of the problem as well with them is they are, in lots of cases, perfume. And a lot of cases, they're full. Again, we found stuff that's constantly full. And you have a lot of problems shipping that, especially cross-border. That's the one thing I was actually going to mention is the perfume lockets. The Avon lockets are something that has done well for us. We've actually found a few of them before. Let's see if I can get them so you can see what they are. They are these tiny little... okay, where are you? Trying to find them. No, that's not them. Maybe so I've got the word bottles in there. Sorry, that's why. No, I'm not finding them there, but they're little cartoon-like lockets with like perfume that's like a cream in them. Is the Avon Advent calendar still a hot item? That I do not know.
I didn't know Avon had an Advent calendar.
Huh?
I didn't know Avon had Advent calendar.
I didn't know they had an
I thought those were Hallmark
either. Well, let's see. It's not the best time of year to search, but again, there's an Avon that could be good. 89, 79, 60. So yeah, if you can find that Avon Advent calendar, that could be a good thing to find. Sells it. Well, there's one that sold for 25 and one that sold for 135. So all over the world with the prices on those.
The one with the mouse sells well, according to Donna.
Oh, okay. There's the mouse. There's the mouse there for 125.
And Janet, the mouse. Has to be a mouse.
There's the mouse. There's the mouse. So yeah, a lot of the stuff like that is you can find. Anne-Marie is saying that most of the perfume pins are from 1973. The mouse is the key to actually having money on it. So it looks like a lot of people have found these before with the mouse on it. I don't even recall ever seeing that one. So that's an interesting one. But again, Avon in general, not necessarily the greatest thing to look at. What's next on our things to avoid? This is an interesting one because this is kind of in that crystal world. One of the things that we found recently that's really sort of tanked is chip and dip bowls. Now, these are sets for chip and dip bowls, and they're like $6 for a set and things like that, $13 for a set. Here's the thing. If you go to a thrift store and you see a chip and dip bowl and it's under $5, $10, if it's not interesting enough to you, but it has the chip holder, then pick it up just for the holder. Why? Because the holders can sell for $27, $18, $16, $25.
We've sold a lot of them.
We've sold probably $200 or $300 worth of chip holders. And so what we end up doing ourselves is we actually take the chip and dip bowl and we put that into our max sold. And we take the chip holder and we sell that on eBay or Etsy. So, but that's, again, it's one of those things that you're not really, it's the brackets are where you got the money. You buy them for the clip. So a few people have the idea here. Just a Pyrex bracket sell for $35. Don is only interested in the holders. Lisa says, buy the clip. Yeah, so that's what we do. So buy them for the clips.
Yeah, we've also stopped buying Pyrex completely from the thrift stores. I've been noticing a real lack of higher quality Pyrex. The Pyrex that seems to stay on the shelves either have the flea marks or they have scratches inside the bowl from utensils, or they have residue that's been baked on that's really difficult to get off.
So that's another thing to maybe think about. A couple of other things in the general sort of collectibles area too I want you to think about is avoiding spoons, collectible spoons. Again, you may find a spoon that is rare. You may find something that's worth money. You may find something that is silver. You may find something that's 14 karat gold. It may, but in general, most of the thing I'm talking about is things like this. Avoid spoons that are, we see these all the time. We see collections of these wooden holders that have these filled in them. My mom had them. My dad used to go, every time my dad went away, he'd bring back a spoon. There's no real value in these kind of spoons. Stay away from thimbles, collectible thimbles. They're all sort of in this same world. Almost anything, depending upon your age, that you think your parents or your grandmother had is starting to become much, much harder to try and go through. And again, that's also part of the aging population and the attitude towards everything that other people have. Because it's just not something that they grew up with, using thimbles or anything along those lines. That's why they're all doing fast fashion. There's a question Kendra's asking, issue selling perfume, especially over the border. If you're using Canada Post, they can actually refuse you because Canada Post actually does not allow perfume to be sent. So
it's a flammable liquid.
It's a flammable liquid. If they ask you, or they should be asking you if it is perfume, they won't let you send it. It's really strange. I always have said to people, I've tried arguing on the phone with Canada Post about 5 years ago. I said that their head office to customer service, can you explain to me why? And they said, well, it's a flammable liquid. And I said, so you can't ship it in a plane? And they said, no, we can't. I said, okay. So I can go to the airport and I can buy sealed bottles of perfume and get them in my duty free and carry it into the plane with me and put it above my seat. But you can't put a box with a sealed perfume bottle in it inside a plane and ship it somewhere. And they were like, yep. It's an idiotic thing. I said, well, then how did they get the perfume to the store in the first place? It had to have come from somewhere. If it came from China or France, if it's eau de parfum, did it come across a boat? How many years did it take to get here? I don't know. And then in the States, it has to be shipped via ground as well. So you can do it. eBay's been cracking down tremendously over the past couple of years on perfumes and not allowing them to be sold too. Yes, same as matches. Canada Post doesn't allow you to steal matches. US, you have to send them through Surface. If you're doing a cross-border shipper, they probably won't let you do that. So it's one of those things. Again, my general sort of sense, before I end off in the next couple of minutes, I just want to sort of go, so this is kind of what we're talking about. The things that are older, the things that are used to be collectible, the things that are big, maybe not so much anymore. So again, as a summary sort of thing, local souvenirs, lot of localized souvenir postcards or souvenir items, old team logos and collectibles from sports teams that don't exist or are very regional. yes, there may be one or two things that got good money for them, but most people don't really care about the third tier pennant league for baseball, unless somebody came up all the way from that and became like head of the NBA. Well, I guess they wouldn't if they were in baseball. Crystal, clear glass, spoons, thimbles, anything along those lines. We had a comment from somebody, actually, I think it might have been Andrew, about Nerf ammo. And this is kind of how I want to end it, is like, you know, I'm a toy boy. I'm your boy toy as a toy boy. That a lot of that sort of stuff is in the toy world, it can be also oversaturated. Disney is sort of way into that. But the things that you would really need to avoid in general are things like Nerf ammo. Nerf guns and Nerf ammo to me are big. If you can sell Nerf guns on Facebook Marketplace, that's pretty good. But they're so big and they get so costly to ship. Nerf ammo seems to be everywhere. We actually have found Nerf ammo in a number of places. If you remember, about 3 months ago, I bought all this Baby Alive baby food that I thought would be like flying out of here for 50 cents when I bought it. I can't sell it. And I don't know why, but it's like dried powder baby food that I thought would sell. Some lines of products. So strawberry shortcake has tanked. They've tried to relaunch it a number of times. It just isn't going anywhere. Dolls like Chrissy and Velvet dolls have a really hard to big dolls. So when you go into the bigger dolls, even things like Chatty Cathy's, the market has gone so far down on those because the people who played with them don't want them anymore. They're trying to get rid of them because we're all old. And in a lot of cases, that also flew into the China and porcelain doll world. And everybody should know that so many places that are thrift stores have a shelf or two loaded with porcelain dolls. Now, you can find really good ones every once in a while. And again, if you want to look them up or you spend the time, then do that. I'm sorry, Nelly. I didn't mean that to make you depressed. I'll sing again, and maybe that'll make you happy. Beanie Babies, which were big and were bad, now are bad, and everybody still thinks, Barbies of some kind, Donna says, but Madame Alexander, no, those are pretty well tanked in a lot of cases. Again, you may find one or two that really work well, but a lot of those things are sort of going in. I think the next one, as we've said for quite a while, is the Funko Pops. At some point are going to be crashing. There are so many things that were made in abundance and then are crashed. So
the House of Abundance.
The House of Abundance, yes. So keep that in mind. The things that, especially when you go into a store in general, if you see 30 of something, okay, so the person who had them is one of a few things. They are now divorced. They are now moving into a smaller place, downsizing.
They need the money to pay their mortgage.
Divorced, downsizing, dead. Those are the three things when you see an entire collection of stuff. And when you look at that, other than the 1 to 17-year-old little girls, hopefully she ain't dead. Hopefully she just moved on away. And I'm not putting these up in my place because no one will talk to me. I can't show them on my Instagram. Then pretty well, yeah, a lot of the stuff back in the day, you've been selling too long. We've all been selling too long. So, yes, I have a share day waiting for the day, goes on tour again. But actually, I think that share doll is still worth pretty good money. So those are the kind of things I want you to think about. I want you to remember that I don't want you to start breaking your heart about those things. What I do want you to is don't go buying this stuff. I tell you, cause I try, but crap when I'm feeling FOMO. Try to not be that guy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Everybody. So don't go buying this stuff. It never leaves your store. You'll end up with a big pile of crap there sitting around on your floor. Ooh, nobody sells these. Nobody sells these. When you go thrift, don't you get miffed. Ooh, don't try to sell these. Don't try to sell these. Like Heather says, it never gets old. Just use eBay sold. Oh, just using measles and Google images. So don't go breaking my heart. Just give us a big thumbs up. Thanks so much to everybody for watching. Hope you had a little bit of a fun time with us tonight. And Craig is singing again. Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. Oh my God, yeah, that's me. Thumbs up. Thanks so much. Sweat hand to the concert. Lighters up. We will see you in 3 weeks because this is one of those months that has like extra Tuesdays in it. So be on the watch out for us. Next Tuesday, we actually have something to do. Those of you who are in the Kennel Club, we will be posting our next Kennel Club live, which is our Kennel Club chats. They will be not next week, but the week after that. So we will see you back here with a live hall pass the beginning of May. And we think we're going to try and do one of those what sold in March and April. So we're going to talk to a few people and see if they sold anything other than prison underwear and shoelaces like us. So, but yeah, 3 weeks. Sorry, but that's the way we roll. But we will see you if you are a Kennel Club member. Look in the Facebook group and look on the YouTube community channel, and you'll see a link the next time we're doing our Kennel Club live chat for Kennel Club members. Thanks again. To be a member, just hit the join under YouTube. $3 a month, and you get a membership in our Facebook group. You'll get our research deck, and there'll be a new research deck video coming up really soon. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Tuesday. Have a good end of the week.
Bye.
Ooh, nobody knows it. Sing it, Rick. Okay, don't.
No.
Told you.
No, I will not sing.
You want to sing.